Truly, this is a place most worthy to linger in. Think of it, and you needn't visit Penghu. After they had admired the scenery for a long while, they sat down in the snow cave and chatted with some of the aged neighbors on the matter of acquiring scriptures. When they finished drinking some fragrant tea, the elder Qin asked again, "Would the several venerable fathers take some wine?" "This humble cleric does not drink," said Tripitaka. "But my disciples may drink a few cups of vegetarian wine." Delighted, the elder Qin at once gave the order. "Bring fruits and vegetables, and warm the wine. We would like to help our guests ward off the chill." The houseboys and servants brought forth tables and small braziers for heating the wine. The pilgrims and the neighbors each drank a few cups before the utensils were taken away. Soon it was dusk, and they were taken back to the front hall again for dinner. Just then, someone walking on the street was heard saying, "What chilly weather! Even the heaven-reaching river is frozen." On hearing this, Tripitaka said, "Wukong, if the river is frozen, what shall we do?" "This sudden cold," said the elder Qin, "must have frozen only the shallow parts of the river near the bank." But the man walking on the street was saying, "All 800 miles across the river are so solidly frozen that its surface is smooth like a mirror. Even people are walking on it." When Tripitaka heard that there were people walking on the river, he immediately wanted to go and look. "Please be patient, venerable father," said the elder Qin, "for it's getting late now. We shall go tomorrow." They took leave of the neighbors, and after dinner, they rested in the parlors as they had the night before. When they arose the next morning, Eight Rules said, "Elder brother, last night was even colder. The river, I suppose, must be solidly frozen." Facing the door, Tripitaka knelt down and bowed toward heaven, saying, "All you great guardians of the faith, your disciple has with complete sincerity resolved to journey to the west to see Buddha. Throughout the bitter experience of traversing mountains and streams, I have never once complained. Having reached this place, I thank heaven for providing assistance by freezing the river. Your disciples therefore wish to offer you our thanksgiving first. After we have acquired the scriptures, we shall inform the Tang Emperor so that he may repay this favor of yours with all due reverence." After he finished praying, he ordered Wu Jing immediately to saddle the horse so that they could walk on the ice to cross the river. "Please be patient," said the elder Qin again. "Wait for a few days until the snow and ice melt away. This old moron will prepare a boat to take you across. I don't think we should settle on staying or leaving," said Sha Monk. "For what we hear is not as reliable as what we see. Let me saddle the horse, but master should go personally to the river to have a look." "You are right," said the elder Qin. "Little ones, go and saddle 6 horses at once. But don't saddle Father Tang's horse yet." With 6 houseboys following, all of them went to the bank of the river to look. Truly there were snow piles rising up like hills. As sunlight broke up the clouds of dawn, the southern border froze to turn barren all peaks. Ice formed to make lakes and rivers flat and smooth. The wind was cold and biting. The ground was hard and slippery. Pond fishes cuddled dense weeds. Wild birds hugged dead branches. Travelers abroad all lost their fingers. The river boatmen's teeth madly chattered. Snake bellies split. Bird feet snapped. Truly the icebergs rose 1,000 feet tall. Cold silver floated in countless ravines. The whole river seemed one cold piece of jade. The east might think that they produced silkworms. But the north in truth had their caves of rats. Here Wangxian lay. Here Guangwu crossed. In one night e'en the river bottom all hardened. The winding stream formed jagged layers. The deep river turned frozen blocks. Not a ripple throughout the water's width. It seemed a road on land, just bright and smooth. When Tripitaka and the others came up to the river's edge, they stopped the horses to look, and true enough, there were people walking onto the ice from the main road. "Benefactor," said Tripitaka. Where are those people going on the ice? The elder Chen said. On the far side of the river is the Western Kingdom of Women, and these people must be traders. Things worth 100 pennies on our side can fetch 100 times more over there, and their things worth 100 pennies can similarly fetch a handsome price over here. In view of such heavy profits, it is understandable that people want to make this journey without regard for life or death. Usually, 5 or 7 people, and the number may even swell to more than 10, will crowd into a boat to cross the river. When they see that the river is frozen now, they are risking everything to try to cross it on foot. Profit and fame, said Tripitaka, are regarded as most important in the affairs of the world. For profit, men would give up their own lives. But the fact that this disciple strives so hard to fulfill the imperial decree may also be taken as his quest for fame. Am I so different really from those people? He turned around and said, Wukong, go quickly back to our benefactor's home and pack. Saddle up the horse, too. Let's make use of the ice and leave for the west at once. Smiling broadly, Pilgrim obeyed. Oh master, said Sha Monk. The proverb says, in 1,000 days, you only eat 1,000 pecks of rice. You are already indebted to the hospitality of Mr. Chin. Why not stay a few more days and wait until the weather turns warmer, when we can cross with a boat? Otherwise, I fear that all this hurry may cause us to make mistakes. Wuqing, said Tripitaka. How could you be so unthinking? If this were during the 2nd month of the year, one might well expect the weather to warm up day by day and the snow to melt eventually. But this is after all the 8th month, and it will grow colder and colder from now on. How could you expect the ice to break so readily? If we were to wait, wouldn't our trip be delayed, perhaps even up to half a year? Leaping down from the horse, 8 Rules said, Stop arguing, all of you, and let Old Hog test it to see what's the thickness of the ice. Idiot, said Pilgrim. You threw a stone the other night and succeeded in testing the depth of the water. But the ice now is solid and heavy. How could you test it? Elder brother, said 8 Rules. You don't realize that I can give the ice a blow with my rake. If it breaks open, it will be too thin for us to walk on, but if it does not, it will be thick enough. There's no reason for us not to want to walk on it. Yes, said Tripitaka. What you said is quite reasonable. Hitching up his robe and walking forward in great strides, Idiot went to the edge of the river. He raised the muckrake high with both hands and brought it down with all his might. A loud thud could be heard, and 9 white marks were left on the ice, while Idiot's hands were momentarily numbed by the impact. You can walk on it. You can walk on it, said he, laughing. Even the bottom is solid. When Tripitaka heard this, he was very pleased. He went back hurriedly to the Chin household, and all he could say was that they had to leave at once. When those 2 old men found that all their earnest pleas for him to remain fell only on deaf ears, they had no alternative but to prepare some such dried food as baked biscuits and breads to give to the pilgrims. As the whole family came out to kowtow to them, the old men also brought out a tray of gold and silver. Going to their knees, they said, We thank you again, venerable fathers, for saving our children. Please take this, just for a meal on your way. Shaking his head and waving his hand, Tripitaka refused to accept it, saying, This humble monk is a person who has left the family. I have no need of money. Even if I were to keep it, I wouldn't dare use it on our way, for begging is our proper means of livelihood. It is more than enough for us to take the dried goods. The 2 old men pleaded with him again and again. So Pilgrim stuck his finger into the tray and lifted up a tiny piece, approximately as heavy as 4 or 5 drams, which he handed over to the Tang monk, saying, Master, keep it as their offering so that these 2 will not be too disappointed. They thus said farewell, and the pilgrims went to the river, but when the horse stepped onto the ice, it began to slip and slide, and Tripitaka was almost thrown off its back. Master, shouted Sha Monk. We can't go. Stop for a moment. Said 8 rules. And let's ask Mr. Chen for some straw. What for? Asked Pilgrim. 8 rules replied. You wouldn't have any idea about this. The straw will be used to wrap up the hoofs of the horse, so that master won't fall down. When the elder Chen heard on the shore what 8 rules said, he told someone to fetch the straw at once. After the Tang monk returned to the bank and dismounted, 8 rules wrapped all 4 hoofs of the horse with straw, and that enabled it to step on the ice without slipping. Having taken leave of the Chen clan at the edge of the river, they proceeded for no more than 3 or 4 miles when 8 rules handed the 9-ringed priestly staff to the Tang monk, saying, Master, put this across your saddle. Idiot. Said Pilgrim. Don't be so sly. You're supposed to carry this priestly staff. Why are you asking Master to do it? Since you have no experience in walking on ice. Said 8 rules. You will not think of this. Even the thickest of ice has holes. Step on one of them and you will plunge into the water. Without something like this held crosswise, you will sink rapidly while the ice above closes in like a huge rock cover. You can never crawl out again unless you have something like this to stop your fall. Snickering, Pilgrim said to himself, This idiot must have walked on ice for years. So, all of them followed what 8 rules told them to do. The elder held the staff crosswise across his saddle. Pilgrim and Sha monk each carried his iron rod and his fiend-rooting treasure staff across his shoulders. 8 rules, who was pawing the luggage, tied the rake sideways at his waist. Master and disciples then felt perfectly safe to proceed. They journeyed until evening. After eating some dried goods, they dared not stop at all. As the stars and the moon lighted up the ice, turning it into brilliant patches of white, they pressed forward. Indeed, the horse never stopped trotting for the entire night. Master and disciples never once closed their eyes. By morning, they ate some more of their provisions and again set out toward the west. As they journeyed, a rending sound came from the bottom of the ice, so frightening the white horse that it almost fell. Greatly astonished, Tripitaka said, "O disciples, why was there such a sound? This river is so solidly frozen." Said 8 rules. That the ice formed from top to bottom must be grating the riverbed. That may be the sound we heard. Astonished but pleased by what he was told, Tripitaka urged his horse on, and they started out once more. We now tell you about that fiend, who led various spirits from the water residence, and sat waiting for a long time beneath the ice. Finally, when the sound of the horse's hoofs became audible, he at once exercised his magic power, and caused the ice to break open. The great holy sun managed to leap at once into the air, but his 3 companions and the white horse all plunged into the water. After catching hold of Tripitaka, the fiend led the spirits back to the water residence, where he shouted aloud, "Where are you, Perch sister?" The old Perch mother met him at the door, bowing, and said, "Great king, I'm not worthy of it." "Worthy sister, why do you say that?" said the fiend. "For even a team of horses cannot overtake the word that has left my mouth. I promised you that if your plan could enable me to catch the Tang monk, I would become your bond brother. Today your marvelous plan did materialize, and the Tang monk had been caught. You think I would retract my promise?" He then gave the order. "Little ones, bring out the tables and the sharp knives. Cut up this monk, take out his heart, skin him, and debone him. Meanwhile, start the music. I'm going to share him with my worthy sister, so that both of us will gain longevity." "Great king," said the Perch mother, "let's not eat him yet, for I fear that his disciples may spoil our party should they come here to search for him. Wait a couple of days, and if no one appears, we can then cut him up. Great king can take your honored seat, while the watery kinsfolk can surround you with singing and dancing. His flesh will be presented to you, and you can take your time to enjoy your feast. Isn't that much better?" The fiend agreed. The Tang monk was placed in a lidded stone box about 6 feet long, which was then hidden in the rear of the palace, and we shall speak no more of him for the moment. We tell you now about 8 Rules and Sha Monk, who managed to recover the luggage in the water. After they had placed it on the white horse, they opened up a path in the water and trod on the waves to rise to the surface. Pilgrim saw them from midair and asked at once, "Where is Master?" "He changed his family name to Sink," said 8 Rules. "And his given name is to the bottom. We don't know where to look for him. Let's get to shore before we decide what to do." 8 Rules, you see, happened to be the incarnation of the Marshal of Heavenly Reeds, who in past years was a commander of 80,000 Marines stationed in the Heavenly River. Sha Monk came from the Flowing Sand River, and the White Horse, too, was the descendant of Dragon King of the Western Ocean. That was why all of them felt so comfortable in the water. Led by the great sage in the air, they soon returned to the eastern shore, where they brushed down the horse and stripped themselves of their wet garments. After the great sage dropped down from the clouds, they went together to the Chin village. At once someone went to make this report to the 2 old men. 4 fathers went to seek the scriptures, but only 3 have come back. The 2 brothers went quickly out the door to receive them, and they found the clothing of the pilgrims still dripping wet. "Venerable fathers," they said, "we pleaded with you to stay and you refused. You would stop only when you came to this. Now, where is Father Tripitaka?" 8 Rules said, "He's no longer named Tripitaka, for he has changed it to Sink to the bottom." As tears fell, the 2 old men said, "How pitiful! How pitiful! We said we would prepare a boat for him to cross the river, but he absolutely refused, and that cost him his life." "Old fellow," said Pilgrim, "it's no use worrying for the dead. But I have a hunch that Master is going to live for a long time yet. Old Monkey knows. It has to be that great king of numinous power, who has planned all this and abducted him. Don't worry now. Wash our clothes for us and dry our rescript. Make sure our white horse is fed, and let us brothers go and find that fellow. We will not only rescue our master, but we will root out also this evil for your entire village, so that you will be able to live peacefully forever." When the 2 brothers heard these words, they were delighted and asked for food for the pilgrims at once. After the 3 brothers had a big meal, they gave the horse and the luggage to the Chin family to look after. Each wielding his own weapon, they went straight to the river to search for their master and seize the fiend. Truly, wrong to walk on thick ice, nature is hurt. What's perfection when great elixir leaks? We do not know in what way they succeeded in rescuing the Tang monk, and you must listen to the explanation in the next chapter.